All right, folks, gather around once again. Grab a cold one, and I mean a root beer. And let me spin you a yarn that's going to make your head take off like a rocket during 4th of July. Faster than a hot potato on a summer day. I don't know what that means, but it sounded cool. This here's a tale of a mom, a YouTube star, and a dark, twisted diary that reads like something out of a horror flick. Now, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Ruby Franke. You know the story, but it gets twistier and crazier and muckier and more insidious. But for those who don't know, let me give you a little brief idea of what I'm talking about here. So there's this lady, Ruby Franke, right? She's got this YouTube channel called 8 Passengers, where she's all about showing the world how to be the perfect mom. Millions of subscribers, folks. She's got the world wrapped around her finger. She's got the whole shebang. She's living the American YouTube dream. But here's where it gets as twisted as a pretzel. Ruby, you see, is not just your average mom, and she's not just your average vlogger. She's got a side gig. That's right. She's not just doing YouTube. She's got a podcast with her buddy, Jodi Hildebrandt, where they're dishing out advice, like one of those podcasts, on keeping kids safe and what they call a predatory society. Sounds noble, right? And you're probably wondering why I'm looking suspicious. Well, I already know the story, so it doesn't make sense to me, but we're going to get into it. So buckle up, because the story's about to take a turn, and I mean a dark turn. And I'm talking about a turn darker than a moonless night. Now, while Ruby's out there preaching about child safety, she has a diary. She's keeping a secret diary. Talking about building a case for your future trial, right? And let me tell you, this ain't no Dear Diary, today was a good day. Not that kind of journal. No siree. This is a 60-page, handwritten account of some of the most heinous acts you can think of. Dark things that people do to a human being than you can ever imagine. Imagine this. Ruby has her kids, especially the younger ones, living in what she calls a work camp condition. She has them doing wall sits. She has them doing wall sits until they're blue in the face, sleeping outside. And if they so much as even whimper, she shaves their head. Yeah, you heard it right. And here's the kicker. She's writing all of this down, detailing how she's torturing her kids and thinking that she's doing God's work. She's got this belief, see, that her kids, get this, that her beloved children are possessed by the devil, by demons. Not just the devil, by many devils, by demons and many demons. So her solution to this is not to do an exorcism or anything like that. No. It's to starve the demons out. It's to hit the children. It's to make them work in the scorching sun without water or without shoes. It's like she's running some sort of medieval boot camp for kids. One entry, mind you, that we should talk about, she writes about holding her hand over her son's nose and mouth after he was pushed into water. She says, it's to help him, but help him do what? Breathe through his ears. Yeah, you heard right. Breathe through his ears. And then there's this time where she took her kids to a Native American cemetery and had them picking up glass and weeds, only to get kicked out for trespassing. She's got them doing hard labor, all the while thinking that it's exorcising the demons, the devils, out of her possessed children. If I was to think anyone was possessed with the devil, it wouldn't be her kids. Now, here's where it gets real. Her son, let's call him R, he's had enough. He's done. I'm done with you, mama. I'm going to rescue myself, and I'm going to rescue my siblings. So he doesn't have a plan. He's frantic. He doesn't know what to do. So he runs. He tries to run away. And he doesn't just run away. He leaves a message in some pebbles. Jail will call when I get there. But Ruby, she finds him, brings him back, and the cycle of abuse continues. But R, remember we're calling him R, he's a tough cookie. He tries again. And this time he makes it to his neighbor's house. The neighbor sees this kid, emaciated, covered in wounds, and sure enough, he calls the cops. That's when the whole house of cards comes tumbling down. And the police, they're on their way, and the kid's hanging out at the neighbor's house. His wife comes out, the man's wife comes out, and they feed him, and they give him water, and the man's crying when he's talking to the police, the dispatch. He can't believe what he sees, duct tape, wounds. The boy, you might have seen the video. The boy is emaciated. That's an understatement. He looks like he has been in a concentration camp. At first, when I covered this video on another channel, I didn't know how bad it was. And I was thinking the opposite way, that maybe this was an exaggeration or that some demographic of people were being persecuted. But heck no, I don't believe that anymore at all. It's a horrible story of abuse. So the police show up while R is hanging out at the neighbor's and Jodi Hildebrandt's home. So the police raid Jodi Hildebrandt's house. They even find R's sister, we'll call her E, in a closet, petrified, terrified. She doesn't know who to trust. You see, these kids have been brainwashed. They don't know what's up from down. And they've got diaries, videos, the whole 9 yards. Ruby and Jodi are arrested, charged with abuse, and they were looking at 30 years in the slammer. So what's the moral of the story? Well, sometimes the folks who shout the loudest about morality and righteousness are the ones hiding in the darkest closets. Ruby Franke, the momfluencer, was living a double life, one for the camera and one behind closed doors. Well, they shut the door on her and Jodi, didn't they? This was straight out of a nightmare, folks. And let me tell you, if you ever feel like you're not doing enough for your kids, remember, there is a fine line between discipline and abuse. Ruby crossed that line like she was running a marathon. Now, I'm not saying that all vloggers or influencers are like this, but it is a reminder to look beyond the screen. What you see might not be the whole picture. So what do you think, folks? Ever come across somebody like this? Somebody that seems to be perfect, have the perfect wife or the perfect husband, the perfect life, all the perfect money, the perfect cars, the perfect children. They're such a nice family. They go to church every Sunday. They're doing everything perfect. Well, not so much. It's called skeletons in the closet. So folks, drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let's keep the conversation going. And hey, if you liked this story, hit the like button, subscribe, and please share it with somebody that maybe needs a reality check on something like this, or they like true crime and scary, spooky, and weird, puzzling stories. Thanks for listening. And remember, keep your eyes open, because you never know what's lurking behind that perfect smile. And we'll see you in the next file.